Alright, welcome back to the Blender for Industrial Designers series. In the previous videos, I showed how to 3D design and texture a lamp. In this video, we will be setting up our scene for lighting, whereby we will be creating a cinematic look with the lighting. So, let's get straight into it. When I'm doing a lighting scene, setting up my cameras and whatnot, I like to go to the animation scene. In the the animation workspace. In the animation workspace, I have a little space where I can view my my camera view. So I'm just going to come here and join these areas together, bring it down. We are not going to be needing the animation. We are not going to be making animation, so we are not going to be needing the animation space. All right. So now I'll be adding a camera first. So camera. So let's go ahead and add our camera. Bring it back a little bit. You can see now that I've added my camera. The camera is tilted awkwardly. It's not looking at my object. I have to make it look at my object. So I just click on N on my keyboard, bring out the camera properties. Then I go to this rotation and have everything at zeroed. So I can just click on it, then drag on the X, Y, Z axis, and then click on 0. And then it resets to like the zeroed location. Now it's looking downward, so I have to make it look upwards, look at the actual object. So I click on RX on my keyboard, then 90 to make the camera look to make the camera to give the camera the rotation of 90 degrees. So here now it's looking at the lamp. So I move it back a little bit. On this place, this is where I'll be previewing. I'll have the preview for my camera. So when I come here, I'm just going to click 0 on the numpad, and then you can see now I'm looking from the camera. So but I don't like to see this space. I like to make it a little bit darker. So I just come here, then camera. I think, yeah, it's viewport display. Then on the perspective, you can just take it up. If you want, you can take it all the way up. I want to leave it at all the way up. Then come here on the output, the resolution. I want to have the resolution at 2K, but I want it also to be 2:2. So I'm just going to click on here, scroll it, and then have it as 2000. This is perfect resolution for social media post. Anywhere you want to put it, 2x2, it's good. It works almost anywhere. Then I'll go back again to my camera. Yeah, was it? I go back here to my output again, or camera. So on the camera, the focal length, for product shots, higher focal length gives better result. The way I see it, I prefer to use higher focal length. It just looks nicer for me. So I'm going to come here and write 95. Give it the focal length of 95. You can keep it at 50. It's okay, but just don't go below 50. All right, so this is what I have now. So I'm going to move it back a little bit. It doesn't matter where I keep my camera now, as I'll be adding in some other stuff. So now the scene is filled up with some other objects in it. So now I have to start importing those objects into Blender. I got these 3D models that I want to import into Blender from two websites. I got from Sketchfab, and I also got from Polyhaven. I'll put the link in the description below. You can go ahead and just look at the website and download whichever model that you want to use. You don't have to use the exact models I use, but the models are really nice. The ones from Choco 4 and the ones from Poly Heaven. So now I'm going to start importing the models into Blender. I'll create a collection for the models only. So I'll come here, create a collection, and name this, I don't know, scene. Then I'll start importing in my models. So I'll come to here, file. Since these are blend files from Choco 4 and Poly Heaven, you can download blend files. So I'm going to be using append, not import. I'll be using append. So I go to append, and I look for wherever I saved my models. So I'm going to start by importing in the, the stool. And so I come here, documents, assets. I kept them as assets. So whichever place, after downloading your model, wherever you download your model, you can just go to the file and open it. I saved it. It's at furniture, stools. I guess this is it. So I'm going to select it. Then I'll select object. So this is the stool. So I'm just going to select it and leave this everything at default. Don't play with it, and then append, and then it's into Blender. Let's see the size. Sorry, select. Okay, so now this size, I'm just going to increase this size a little bit, and then for the lamp I'm going to decrease the size, but I don't want to select everything like this and then start scaling it down. I want to do it with an empty, so I'm going to select an empty and then parent the object to an empty. Shift A, select an empty, then select everything else, select the empty last, and then Control P to parent and keep set parent to keep object. So I'm going to keep transform, sorry, object keep transform, and then I'm going to select only the empty now, and then everything follows. Yeah, so now I'm just going to set this on the lamp, set the lamp on the table. Now you can see here what we have. Make sure it's sitting on the table and it's not overlapping. Just going to make sure it's actually sitting on the table. Something like this is okay, it's nice. I don't like these bumps coming out from the table, so I'm just going to remove them really quickly. I can remove them by just selecting only here L, select linked, and then move it up a bit to hide the bumps. Let's see if we no longer have to hide the bumps, so we have to move this lamp a bit higher, somewhere like this, and now it's okay. We have our first object in the scene. So now to import the other object also from Choco 4, I'm going to append. These models already have downloaded. I don't want to have to go back to the website. So where did I launch this, and then object, yep. Now we have the launch table. Then I'm going to bring it back a little bit, rotate it to this position. My camera, I'm going to move it forward a little bit like this, then move it upwards just to look at the lamp, something like this, then move it backwards, something like this. Is this it? Yeah, I guess this position for the camera is okay. So I'm going to increase the size of the chair to something like this. Right. So this is a lounge chair. It's not going to be bigger than the like this. It's not going to be bigger than the stool. So I give it a nice location, rotate it a little bit like this, give it a tilt. I might as well just increase the size to this point, then move it upwards, give it a nice rotation, like this. Also reduce the scale. Like I said, you don't have to do the exact thing I do. It's just I'm just following the techniques that you can follow to achieve this type of result, or a nice result overall, because what you are looking for is just a good result. All right, so now let me move this like this. I'm trying to replicate the exact thing I did before, so bring this closer, with somewhere like this. All right, now I'm spending too much time on setting up the chair. So now the next thing to do is to okay, I'm going to bring the camera closer to somewhere. Yep. So move this. Okay, right now I'm just trying to be a perfectionist. No need to be a perfectionist, Salih. Just leave the scene like this. All right. So now the next thing to do is to import the books. The books I got from import. Okay. Yeah. Import the books. I'm going to click on append again. The books I got from Polyhaven. So I think it's on my download. Let me see. Or is it the document assets? Always remember where you download your files, guys. Don't be like me. I think yep, book encyclopedia. So I'm going to select this object. So now I don't really have a preview for the books, but it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to select randomly and append them into Blender. So now when you come, you have the books. Let me go ahead and preview. Let me put it on preview. So now I'm going to select two of the books. So now this is what we have. So bring this close to this point. Let's see. Bring them closer. Let them make them touch each other, almost as if they are hugging. Or they ready? All right. So now I'm going to rotate this at 90 on the y-axis, and then bring it downwards like this. I'm going to move this lamp. Select the lamp by its empty, move it up. Then I'm going to increase the scale of the book to almost the size of the table surface, to somewhere like this. Increase it again a little bit. Adding the book just shows indication it just gives you a sense of scale for the lamp. So, and it's also like an artistic style. It's not something that you have to do, but when you do it, it looks nice. So why not? Select, move it forward, and then I'm going to give this a little bit of, so I'm going to rotate this on the 180, on the x-axis 180, move it backwards, just out of place, out of proportion, like this. I'm going to tilt it on the z-axis, like it's somewhere like this, like and then also this one I'm also going to tilt it to So have it almost not perfectly kept. Need to also so now this is what we have. You see, we're already building up our scene little by little. So now what else again to add? The portrait. So I'm going to add the portrait in. So select append. I think I have it at on download, so I'm going to select standing. Yep, standing picture frame. Select append. Select just the object. The portrait is in. Move it upwards. So this is actually a standing portrait, but I want it to be a wall portrait. No problem. I just have to rotate it to make it look like it's actually on the wall. So move it backwards, then upwards, increase the scale, move it to this frame, this part of the frame. I don't want it to be, I just want it to be part of my scene, but I don't want it to show too much, something like this. So speaking of wall, I also have to add my wall where the portrait will be hanging. We're not just going to leave the portrait hanging on air, are we not? So sorry, where did that come from? That cough, it was so sudden. All right, so now I'm going to add a wall. So I will be using a cube for the wall. So select cube. I want the cube to be standing on the floor. So I'll go to edit mode, GZ1. All right, so that I have the pivot point here, so that when I scale it, it scales from the below. So now on the top view, I'm going to scale this to this point, and then I'm going to edit mode and just delete the face. We don't need this face, as I'll be allowing some light to be entering from here. I'm just going to increase the size somewhere like this, as long as it's not showing in the camera the ceiling. So now let's see if it's actually touching the wall. It's not touching the wall. You can go to your x-ray view and see. So now move it backwards and have it actually touching the wall. Yep. And then move this to somewhere like this. Increase the size of the portrait. Now we have this. So the other parts of the wall, I modeled it. So don't worry, we can still model it now. It's not something too difficult to do. So I'll be stealing this face. Should be select the face, P, separate, make it separate, and then set origin to geometry, give it its own origin. So it's half of the wall, the panel. So I'm going to like delete this vertices. Wait, sorry, faces. I don't want to delete everything. So now I'm just going to come here and start adding more edges. Add more edges to like this is okay. So now I'm just going to view it alone. So by clicking on your numpad, just click on the slash button and then you preview it alone, so we can focus on just the modeling this. And then I'm going to select everything. I come to also select and then checker deselect, and then we have this. So on the checker deselect, I'm going to select on I to insert faces, something like this. Sorry, not checker deselect. So not the faces, sorry. So on the edges. um did I even do this here on the edges? I'm going to bevel it, bevel, and then give it a little tiny space, something like this. Yeah, wow, this is how I did it. So now Alt E to extrude along normals. So now move it a little bit out. Now you see we are having this design. Just leave it here. This is something you can do with texturing, but I prefer to model it in as to get better shadow effect. But it's whatever. If whatever works for you, you can also do. Delete there. We don't need that. Also delete this, even though it's not going to be showing in the camera, and then go back to this point. So now we have our scene. I think we have one issue. I don't want the floor of the wall to show the floor yeah, to show like this. So I'm going to move this. I'm going to move it closer to the camera, so that I can move the wall also closer to okay. So I'm going to click on home. I can just like move the whole cube. Select these two, move the whole cube. I forgot to select the cube, move it. No longer showing the camera, and it's a bit farther from the. So now I'm going to move this again. Just keep like moving things until you get your right direction. All right, so now the next thing to do is to start adding in textures. For the wall, I'll be making the texture myself, but for this panel, it's wooden, so I'll be making the wood. I'll be using a wood texture that I've downloaded from ambient texture. So now I'll start with the wall, since I'm going to be creating the texture for the wall myself. I come to here, shading. On the shading, create a new shader and bring it here like this, and then I'm going to select noise, next texture, bring it, and then color, plug the color. Then the next texture is color. The next shader, it's color ramp. Bring in color ramp. Then make it at the middle, and now you have this effect. So now I'm going to shift Control T, Control T if you have your Node Wrangler enabled. So if you want to enable your Node Wrangler, you come to Edit, Preference, and then you look for Node Wrangler on the add-ons tab, and then you enable your Node Wrangler. So when you just select in Control T, it brings out these very two important shaders. So now you can have object at object, and with the Node Wrangler here, with the mapping here, you can also increase the scale of this of the pattern here, and you can have it at, let's say, 2. Is it enough? 2 is okay. So now I will, from this color, I'm going to make it a bit brighter. Somewhat something like this is okay. And I want to have a white wall. I guess this is white enough. Then or should I make it any? On the roughness, I'm just going to have it at, I don't know, 4. All right, so now this is what we have. This, it's enough for the wall, this texture. So now for this, I'm just going to select new and then click on this, and then I'm going to import the boot textures that I've already downloaded from ambient texture. So Shift Control T. With Shift Control T, I can input different texture values all at the same time. So now I come to picture and just go to where I save my textures, and wood, let's see, wood 26. You can use any wood texture you want. Make sure it just fits the scene. This is the wood texture that I want to use. This wood texture is okay, so I'm going to select the color, displacement, the normal. We have two normal from where I downloaded this. I will be selecting this one and normal GL. It fits with Blender, and then I'll be selecting the roughness. So import everything. Now we have this that looking nice. We have to make it look nice, so I'm going to select front view A, U. We have to unwrap it. So when I select U, it brings this. So I have to UV map it to project from view. So now this is looking a bit nice. I don't even think we need to change the scale or anything. But here the displacement, that is the bumps, I'm going to try to decrease it and see. So 0.05. I don't want it to be bumpy that much. Then I go back to my animation, and then we already have this now. Our scene is set up. So now to make it look nicer, I will have to do the lighting. So I'll come here on the viewport shading. I'll have it at rendered, and now you see we have bits of a dark scene, like it's nighttime, and then this is glowing really nice. This is really nice effect. If you want, you can leave it at this. I'm going to be using GPU. I'm going to have the render at 256. Let's see what we have at the color management. I'm going to have it at high contrast. So now you can see our scene has much of an high contrast. Here on the world, I'm going to be so I'll select color, and I'll be using the sky texture. So now when I use the sky texture, you can see now that the scene has been lit up, and this wood texture, it exposes the wood texture. I don't like how this wood texture is looking. I will have to come back here to shading, select. This is, you see, this is why it's always good to preview. So for the wood texture, I'm going to, let's say, have everything at, everything's already at 1. So let's say 0.2. Should I even use this wood texture? Let's leave it at 1. You know what? I'm just going to leave it. The way it is. So I'll come back to animation, because I'll even be adding blur to my scene, so it doesn't really matter as much. All right, so now back to the sky texture. So with the sky texture, you can add you can do a little bit of stuff with it. You can make it look like it's daytime. You can make it look like it's sunny in the daytime. You can make it, give it that golden hour. You can also make it look like it's night. So with the sun rotation, that is how you can have this sun elevation. I don't know what it means. Whenever I don't see much of an effect. Okay, yeah, sorry, with the sun elevation. So now this is the golden hour that I'm talking about. When you scroll it, we have night time. So I'm going to give it something like leave it at something like 1.3. the sun rotation, I don't know what it does exactly. I'm just going to leave it at 0. On the air, I'm going to increase the air a little bit. So when you increase the air, you see that you're having like maybe like a desert dust or something. If you decrease it, see now, yeah, like it's almost night, like it's nighttime with this little bit of blue effect or blue tint. So I'm going to have it at somewhere like this. And the dust also, when you increase it, looks like it's nighttime. Decrease it, and it's giving that golden hour effect. So I'm going to increase it like this. You can just keep playing with this. The ozone, also play with it. I don't really like the effect it gives. I'm just going to leave it at 1. I do not like to play with the ozone. The strength, this is the strength of the of the like the sun. You can increase it, make it looks very bright. So I'm just going to leave it at 1. I don't want to play with the sun. So now I will start adding light to my scene. So I come here, select light. This is the collection I'll be adding light. So I'll select the light, which is the select a light. I'm going to select the area light. So I want the area light to give this, this cut and give this really nice shadow. But before we have that effect, I will have to create like a window where the light is coming through and gives that ray, bright and shadow effect. So I'm going to come here. I'm just going to cut a window for us at this point. Select, take this up somewhere like this. Also select this, take it up. Move this backwards somewhere like this. Then select 3x faces. So now I'm going to increase the intensity of this to like 1000, even 5000 if it's not. So you see it's starting to give the effect. So I will have to rotate it to have the full effect. So rotate it, bring it here, and then just move it to like this point. So you see you're having the cut. So to have more of the cut, you have to like decrease. So decrease the size. When you are decreasing, now it's bigger. This shadow is soft. So when you decrease the size, the shadow starts to become harsh. So that's what I want to get. I want to get the harsh shadow, but I don't want it to be very harsh. So like something like this. The shadow here it's harsh, but that's like how realistic shadow reacts. If the object is close to the surface, the shadow is harsh, but then if it's further, then it becomes a little bit soft. So I'm just going to keep moving this till I get my effect. Yep, let's see. All right, so now let me move the window also. So move it downwards. Something like this. It's okay. So now also I'm going to move this window also, this part of the window, something like this. All right, so now if you look at clearly at the wood, carefully at the wood, you see the bumps are just too much. So I'll come here to the shading and decrease the bump to, I don't know, to like 1, still much, 0. Let's come here and see 0.001 also. Yep, the bumps looks a bit better this time. And yeah, come to animation. So now this is what we have. You can keep adding more effects or increase the intensity of the light to, let's say, 2000. Let's see what we have at 2000. 2000 is really bright. If that's the mode you are going for, no problem. Should I leave it at 2? Let me move this backwards. I don't like it the way it's just there. Decrease the size, something like this, then move it. All right, so now we have too many objects in our scene. I want to highlight just only the lamp. So to make the viewer of this image right here, to make his attention focus on just the lamp, I will be adding in a focus. So I want the viewer's focus, so I'll come here. I'll be blurring everything in the scene but the lamp, so that the viewer knows that, okay, this is where they want my focus. So I'll come to camera, depth of field. So depth of field, I'm going to select the depth of field, and I'll select here on depth of field, select, I can use the picker to select what I want to give. Now you can see the depth of field. You can see that some of the scenes are blurred. Let me come here and denoise this. You can see that everything in the scene is blurred, even the lamp. And when you come to your depth of field, when you come to this this f-stop, you can increase the depth of field. Now you see this is really blurred. So you can also do somewhere like this. All right, so now I like this. Oh wait, sorry, I have to go back to the camera. Depth of field, so somewhere like 1.5, 1.8, let's see. All right, so I like this blur effect. So now I don't want everything on the scene is blurred. I don't want that. I want everything but the lamp to be blurred. So I'm going to select the picker and then select the lamp. So now you can see now everything in the scene is blurred, and then you have the lamp just focusing, just telling us, look at me. I'm seeking for attention. And when you're okay with how your scene looks, you can come here, render, then render image. So now when the image is done saving, you just go to image, save as, name it whatever you want to name it, lamp, save it as PNG, and save as. And now when you go to where you save your image, you see it saved. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. If you like it, please give a like and subscribe. Do not forget to subscribe.